So the question that your bell ringer asked you was, you're not open to section 4, are you? Everybody should have their notes open to section 4. It says list all the characteristics that you and a beetle have in common. So Coleoptera, that's the beetle family. What do you and Coleoptera have in common? Okay, that was the question. So let's unfreeze the screen and see what you gave me. It looks like, all right, eyes and legs. We have legs in, yeah, we have them, I guess, yeah. Cells and organization, I like that. You're going right to the characteristics of life, metabolism, homeostasis, and growth. Someone did their reading last night. I see that. Eyes and legs. We both are alive. We have eyes, and we have vertebrae. Don't raise your hand. Insect. That's an insect. They're invertebrates, right? They're skeletons on the outside. But someone just learned something new right there. They learned that insects do not have a backbone. Right? That's good. We're here to learn, right? They're both living. I like that. Yes. Cellular organization, homeostasis, metabolism, responses, reproduction, heredity, and growth. Yay. You get the idea? Intestines, basically a lot. Yes. Oh, there they are. Characteristics of life. Look at you guys. Home run. Well, maybe a triple. Hi. Okay. No saying hello. I had someone ask someone to homecoming the other hour. That's kind of neat, right? I mean, it was a neat way to do it. Yeah. So, all right. So today we're going to look at the branches of biology, and we're going to look at the 7 characteristics that all living things share. You guys listed a lot of them there. This is a pretty short set of notes. So looking at biology, we understand that's the study of life. Bio means life, logi, the study of. Okay, makes sense, the study of life and of living organisms and how they interact with non-living things like their environment. Because living things have all this dead stuff around them that they have to live with. We're no exception. It would be impossible for one person to become an expert in all aspects of biology, so they do what's called specializing. My specialty is biology, but even in biology there are specialties. I'm pretty general when it comes to the biological scheme of things. I am not an entomologist. Anybody know what an entomologist is? Yes. Study bugs, right? I'm not an expert on bugs. Although I've had entomology class, 2 of them, I've not taken a whole set of classes, like 12 or 20, on just that. So I'm not an expert there. But in order for me to be an expert on, let's say, beetles, I would have to just study beetles for a while. And I have not been that interested in just one thing. In biology, I like the whole thing. So if I were to study one thing in biology, it probably would be zoology just because it's fun, right? But then even in zoology, I better study on what? Either mammals or amphibians or, marine mammals. I got to pick a type, right? I got to specialize. So some of the branches of biology are biochemistry, ecology, cell biology, genetics, evolutionary theory, microbiology, botany, zoology, and physiology. So I do have a master's degree, and it's in natural science, which falls under ecology. So I am specialized in one of these areas. Mine's ecological studies and natural science. So throughout this course, you will learn about each of these branches and have the opportunity to practice techniques used in careers in each of these fields. So if you look at all of those subdivisions of biology, we'll get into zoology a little, not as much as I'd love to because it's not really part of the Michigan curriculum. We'll touch on it. But all of those different areas we will be touching on in this class this year. Okay, all those different subdivisions. Will we specialize on any of them by the end of the year? No. This is like a survey, right, of all biology. Although sometimes you'll feel like it's really detailed. And it is, but in the grand scheme of things, not as detailed as you might think. So all living organisms share certain properties or attributes. And those 7 properties of life are cellular organization, homeostasis, there's a fun new word, metabolism, responsiveness, reproduction, heredity, and growth. We'll go right down the list, starting with cellular organization. All living things we know are made of one or more cells. Believe it or not, that was not common knowledge 100 years ago. Seems kind of odd. Yes, sir. Single-celled organism, protozoan, bacteria, euglena. We can go on and on all day. But there's single-celled eukaryotes called protozoans, protista. A lot of those, millions. And then there's a lot of different bacteria. Okay? So a cell is the smallest unit capable of all life processes. So this means a cell can do all the things we're talking about. The cell is organized. It can maintain homeostasis. It can reproduce. If it can't do one of the characteristics of life, it's not a cell. Right, guys? Taking notes? I hope so. So that leads to this word homeostasis. Homeo comes from the root homo. What does homo mean? Same, right? What does stasis mean? State or condition of. How about that? So this word directly translated from Latin means to maintain the same state, the same internal condition. So all living organisms must maintain a stable internal environment in order to function properly. And the maintenance of a stable internal environment in spite of changes in the external environment, is called homeostasis. I want you guys to give me an example of homeostasis. An example of when you might maintain a stable internal environment. Go ahead, type it in. Shouldn't take very long. These Peardeck questions should take about less than a minute to type in. And it's okay to be wrong. First thing that pops in your head, put down. All right, let's see what we came up with. 10 of you? Uh-oh. Come on now. How about this? I know I at least have 16 Chromebooks. I'm not going to go until I have 16 responses. We'll be stuck here. An example of homeostasis. It's okay to be wrong. Take a guess. I'm not going to look it up unless you write something vulgar on there. I'm not going to look up who did it. Okay? Only you know. Now, if you laugh at yourself and go, I'm so stupid or whatever, then we know. But no one's going to, know unless you tell us. Come on now, one more. There we go. Now we can look. Staying healthy during the plague at John. Yeah, right. Fighting off infection. You know, if bacteria are growing in you and you don't fight them off, you die, right? There's no homeostasis. Well, that's a good one. Solids. What does that mean? Go to the bathroom? What are we talking about there? Temperature's a good one. If we run and we get hot, we do what? Sweat, and that releases heat to maintain 98.6 degrees. That's homeostasis. People in their homes, oh, kind of, yeah, okay. Taking care of the earth, okay, the earth maintaining its stable internal condition, the temperature of the earth even can fall into there. If you're thirsty, you go get a drink, that'll work. Okay, house a little bit. Sleeping in class, stepping in class, sleep, I don't get that. I don't know. Not being sick, I get that. Home body temperature, yes, sleep. Temperature, okay. So I see temperature being used a lot, and that's a good one. That's like a kind of an easy one for us to relate to, because we all get hot and we all respond to heat in some way, shape, or form. If we go outside and it's cold, we shiver, right? Our body makes friction. We make little goose pimples to get warm, close our sweat pores up so we don't release heat. And so that's a good one when we think about that. If you put your hand on a hot stove, what happens? You remove it, right? It's hot. It's like, oh, that's freaking hot. And then you pull it off. And so that's maintaining homeostasis too. Okay? So don't forget, it's more than just one thing. It's everything. In fact, maintaining homeostasis is how you stay alive. Without it, we die. We cease to exist. Okay. Is that Evan? Noah, did you type that in there? Oh, it probably is. I can find out. Is this for real? Because I got to move on. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. All right. So, oh, Lordy. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. So metabolism. Everybody understands what metabolism is. Okay? That's how you eat your food, right? It gives you energy. But in biology, it's more than that. Living organisms carry out different chemical reactions in order to obtain energy. The sum of all these chemical reactions carried out in an organism is called metabolism. I should have chosen a different color for that. That says metabolism there. Now, almost all of the energy used by living things originally comes from the sun. We know that. Okay, the sun gives plants light. They take that and make sugar out of it. We eat the sugar, or we kill something that ate the sugar and we eat it. But either way, it all comes from the sun. So, when we say metabolism, it's kind of a weird way we use it, right? We use metabolism as saying someone has a high metabolism. That means that they're breaking down food really fast. But what else does metabolism include? It includes breaking things down, but also what? Building them up. So let me give you an example of this. We all eat protein, okay? Without it, we don't have these things called amino acids. So we eat protein, we break them down into these small parts called amino acids, and then we build up those amino acids to make our proteins. Do you guys understand that? So that involves two things. Number one, catabolism, breaking things down. Number two, anabolism, building things up. Those two things together make up our metabolism. And it is the sum, the addition of all the things added up, positive numbers, and all the things broken down, negative numbers. Did you get that? If you add +2 and -2, you get what? 0, which would be an equal balanced metabolism, otherwise known as homeostasis. Do you guys understand that? Okay. It's the concept we're trying to drive home here. That's your metabolism. Please stay focused on what we are doing, not what we did. This next part is responsiveness. Without it, we're in trouble, especially as animals. So in addition to maintaining a stable internal environment, living organisms need to respond to their external environment. Plants even do this. So right now, can you think of any way that you've responded to your environment today? I want you to tell me how you've responded to your environment today. Looking for 16, and then we'll go. Any way you might have responded to your environment today.
So if I like talk to someone, is that responding to what they said pretty much?
What?
If like I'm talking to you, am I responding to what you said before?
Yeah, I mean, that is responsive. Probably not what I'm looking for. Let's see what we have. Wearing a shirt because its heat is non-existent at Glen. We get, I hope everybody's wearing a shirt. Oh, a sweatshirt, okay. We get tan when it's summer. Yeah, okay, you get tan when it's summer because your body says, hey, there's a lot of sun out. We need to make a protein that absorbs some of that sunlight called melanin. And so you start making more melanin in what are called melanocytes. And then you release that fluid into your what's going on?
School is a morgue, apparently.
Okay, a morgue. All right, well. Folks, because it's cold. Okay, all right. I put a jacket on because it's cold. You respond to the weather. That'll work. Okay. Cold, so you put clothes on. Hungry. I like hungry, so you ate food. Okay. All right. Your body was lacking serotonin, and it said, hey, I'm hungry. You better feed me. I'm going to get really angry. Okay. So you fed it. All right. Chilly. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Wore a sweater. It must have been cold this morning. So, running. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like running. A cougar comes out and you run, right? Yeah. Respond. Let's respond into your environment. I put J's on, okay, because the ground was wet. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about responding. You could respond to heat by sweating. You could respond to cold by shivering. Your cells could respond. Anybody ever have someone like tap their knee and they do that reflex thing? Okay? So you could respond by reflexes. You could, like we said, touch a hot stove and pull your hand off, but chemically, your bodies could get a signal. If you get scared, let's say a cougar jumps out. I don't know why that one keeps popping up as my example. You release what into your bloodstream? Adrenaline. Then you can run really fast. Is that responding? Yeah, without it you get caught and ate, right? Okay? So this whole responsiveness, it can be at the organism level, but it can also be at the cellular level. That means cells must have a way to communicate with each other. How does my skin cell know the difference between a fat cell? And how does my fat cell know it's not fat and knows it's muscle? They are communicating to each other and responding to each other. That's called specialization and differentiation. We're going to get into that later too. All right? So there's more than just the way we think of responsiveness. Touch something hot, pull your hand away, run from a tiger. I get that. But at the cellular level, you're communicating through chemicals and signals and responding as well. We'll be talking about that, running from bullies, yes, later. A little bit, yep. So reproduction. Well, here's another way. Let me turn the lights on. Everybody open your eyes as wide as you possibly can. What? Did you feel your eyes respond? Yeah. Your pupils just constricted, right? And now they can open back up and they can dilate again, right? Okay, sorry. So it's pretty easy to even do that. What? Reproduction, sorry. I know I got to choose a different font. Most living things can reproduce, and reproduction is the process by which organisms make more of their own kind from one generation to the next. It is reproduction. I'm sorry, guys. I made a mistake there. I'll get there. Don't worry. I'll read it. I will read it like I just said. Heredity is when an organism reproduces. It passes on its own traits to its offspring in the process called, and I have to, what did I write there? Inheritance, but it should be called heredity. Okay? This means your offspring get it from your parents. That's all it means. Parentals pass it on to their offspring. That's called heredity. We're going to be dealing with a topic in here called genetics. Okay? So inherited characteristics change over generations, and if they change over generations, we call this evolution. So the last one should be evolution. So when I talk about inherited characteristics changing over time, if you hear the term change over time, I'm referring to evolution, okay, which involves heredity. Do we change in one generation? Sure about that? Look at your mom and dad. None of you are clones. I hope. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, so the fact that I do not look like my mother exactly or my father exactly means I am different. I have changed genetically. I am a new combination of over 30,000 genes from either side in a brand new combination. Therefore, I am completely different. You know how you hear the saying, you're half your mom and half your dad? That's hooey. You're half of a new combination of your mom and half of a new combination of your dad. So you're truly not even half your mom and dad, which is really confusing. And we'll get into that in genetics. You did get half of your information from your mom, and you did get half of it from your dad. The only thing that people don't tell you is it's a new combination. It's like if I took all 30,000 of your mom's genes, shuffled them up, all 30,000 of your dad's genes, shuffled them up, and then mixed them together, that would be a new you. Let me give you an idea of this. And we'll talk more about this in genetics. Men, you make 4 million sperm a day. Your whole life. In your lifespan, you will never make the same one twice. That's how different you are from your mom or dad. Now, you do have the same versions of genes, but it's the combinations of those that makes you so unique. And that's why we talk about evolution. I don't need to really talk about changing into a whole new species. You, literally, by definition, are more evolved than your parents. Don't tell them that, though. They don't like to hear that. Okay. They don't like to hear that. Okay. Yeah, you don't tell your parents you're more evolved than them. They don't like that. So when I talk about, and I'm not going to play this, when I talk about guinea pigs, you guys, we can tell, let's say I had two, and we'll talk more about this in genetics, let's say I had two guinea pigs that were both black and white, they could indeed have this oddball. And we'll talk about what it means to have a recessive trait later. But anytime you get things from mom and dad, that's inheritance. Anytime it's different than mom and dad, that is evolution, changing over time. So this leads into growth. How do we grow? Well, we grow a few different ways. All organisms must grow in some way. As they grow, many changes occur, and if you're changing and developing, we call this development. You guys are in the middle of development, okay? You're in the middle of the pubescent stage of your life, okay? You've already gone through being a little zygote, and then you grew into a blastocyst, and then you divided, and you started differentiating, you became a little fetus, and then you became an infant, you know, after you came out of your mom, and then you grew up into a little tiny, what's the next stage? I forget. Toddler, well, even before that, it's the baby, I don't know. And then you go into a toddler stage, then a young child, then child, and then you go into the pre-adolescent stage, then you go to adolescent stage, and then the pubescent stage, which is where you guys are, and then you go into young adulthood, and then maturity, and then eventually you get old and die. We get that, okay? But until you get to that point of, like, let's say 24 years old and you're an adult, yeah, that's the actual physiological definition of an adult. Right around 24 years of age, your organs, if you got to talk, raise that hand. I'll call on you, I promise. So if you're not done developing truly till the age of about 24, that's when your brain's fully developed, your liver's fully developed, all those things are fully developed. So I know we all feel like adults at your age. I did too. Just know your body's not fully done until about 24 years of age. That's why I always say the legal drinking age should be like 25. Yes?
So if 24 is your physical adulthood, why are you legally an adult at 18?
Because politicians make the laws and they aren't scientists. All right. So leading to growth, that's the true answer. So development differs from evolution. It should be illegal for everybody to drink and smoke. I don't know why it's not. But if you're going to, you should at least be physiologically an adult, which is about 24. But again, we live in a different society. So development differs from evolution because different development differs or refers to change in a single individual during that individual's life. So you don't evolve as you develop. You develop. Now, if you have children and they're different than you, that's evolution. Okay? A little different. Do you get the difference? Okay. I mean, you changed. One's changing in the individual, that's development. One's changing from generation to one generation to the next. That's evolution. See, I told you guys evolution doesn't have to be that controversial. Everybody says it's this controversial topic. It's not. If you're different from one generation to the next, that's evolution. So looking at the 7 properties of life, you need to know these. You need to memorize these. These will be on a test, I promise. Okay? So could I grow in the number of cells too? Yeah. My cells could get bigger or I could divide and make more of them, right? There's a couple different ways to grow there, right? Okay. So branches of biology include biochemistry, ecology, cell biology, genetics, evolutionary theory, microbiology, botany, zoology, and physiology. You must know generally what each of those categories are. And then the 7 properties of life, again, cells and organization, homeostasis, metabolism, responsiveness, reproduction, heredity, and growth. So, that will be the end of Chapter 1.